What does earning $6.1 billion in one single day, like Elon Musk recently did, actually look like? Let's find out. So to start, I took out my little scale and I filled it up with 1 ounce of rice. In the end, I had 3 ounces of rice. Then I hired some professionals to help me count because counting out thousands of grains of rice all on your own would take hours. They demanded to be paid in root beer floats. Then we had the final count, which was 1,820 grains of rice converted to 1 pound is 29,120 grains of rice in that pound. For number 2, we had 1,788 grains of rice, which converted is 28,608. And then finally for number 3, we had 1,847 grains of rice, which converted to a pound is 29,552. Which brings us to an average of 29,093.33 grains of rice per pound. So to confirm those results, I went over to Google and I looked up how many grains of rice are in a single pound. Google tells me 29,000, so our number's almost spot on. You saw there was a bit of a discrepancy between each ounce. The reason for this is because some grains of rice were broken up. We counted every single broken grain of rice as long as it wasn't just a little piece of dust. Our numbers seem to jive with what Google is saying, so we're gonna say there's roughly 29,000 grains of rice per pound. If I wanted to represent $6.1 billion, how can I do that? I did the math. I bought hundreds of pounds of rice. I took out a bunch of money. Just kidding, this is fake. This is prop money. It's not real. I would never just keep $50,000 laying around my house. And now let's take a look at exactly what $6.1 billion really looks like. We have over 6 million grains of rice. 6,100,000 grains of rice, roughly right here. You might be wondering why we're not doing a video on Jeff Bezos, who recently earned $13 billion in one day. And to that, I have to say, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. And if you really enjoy it, please consider giving it a thumbs up. When you do both of those things, the YouTube algorithm goes all kinds of bonkers and basically you break the internet. So use caution. Now you might be like, well, you went as far as buying 6,100,000 grains of rice. Why didn't you buy 6.1 billion so that we could just see dollar for dollar what $6.1 billion actually looks like? If I wanted to show you guys dollar for dollar, it would take 9 dump trucks filled all the way completely full just to equal $6.1 billion worth of rice grain for grain. And quite frankly, this was not very cheap, and it would cost me over 1,000 times more in order to get the same amount. In fact, the sheer weight of 6.1 billion grains of rice, it would weigh the same as a 727 jet. And this is what a single grain looks like. This tiny little grain of rice that barely even shows up on the camera, if it does at all, is equal to this much money. And right behind me, we have 6.1 million of these. Let's pour them out and see what it looks like, and then take out some more money and show you what it really looks like and how ridiculous $6.1 billion actually is, and to earn that in a single day. Now it's time to dump out all of these grains of rice. So let's begin with the smallest amount we have, the ounce we already weighed out. Now before I pour this, with each one of these grains of rice equal to $1,000, the amount in this little container right here is roughly equal to the amount of money that you will earn in your entire lifetime if you earn the median income, which is around $63,000 to $65,000 per household. So right here, that's your entire life worth of money. I have counted out 35 grains of rice, which would be equal to $35,000, which is the price of Elon Musk's Tesla Model 3. Now, before we go any further, I would like to say that I'm a huge fan of Elon Musk, and I have 2 Teslas in my garage. I love the guy. But the amount of wealth that he makes in one day is still absolutely insane. So here goes a Tesla Model 3. If you wanted to buy a beach house in the Caribbean or something like that, well, here you go. Right here we have 1 pound of rice, which again, roughly 29,000 grains. And now with our conversion, this would be $29 million. So essentially, it's a really nice super yacht, home in the Beverly Hills, that sort of thing. Two pounds of rice, double the money, even bigger super yacht. £5 of rice. This would be equal to $145 million. More money than most of us could ever dream of making, let alone making it in one day. But this is just a small piece of the pie that he made in one single day. £50 of rice. This will be equal to $1,450,000,000. Here goes nearly $1.5 billion. Wow. Remember that each one of these grains of rice is equal to $1,000. So right here, one little grain of rice, we'll put it on that 1,000. Another 1,000, we'll use this little grain of rice. We have a long way to go, but we're only 1/4 of the way there, so let's keep going. As you can hear, I can't get it all out of the bag, so there's probably a couple million left in the bag, but I think you get the point. And yet another $1,450,000,000. And our final $1,450,000,000. So as I'm sprinkling, I'm basically sprinkling off your entire life savings. So right here, we have 6,100,000 grains of rice. To be quite honest, this is way bigger than I expected it to be. Drop a comment and let me know, is there a way to solve this problem? Because it's not like his wealth is liquid. He can't just go take that $6.1 billion and spend it right now. Though if he wanted to get access to it, he could certainly sell some stock and get access to a lot of money very fast. Is it a problem that we can solve? Is it just the consequences of capitalism? Drop a comment, let me know. What should we do about this? Should there be outrage, or is it totally acceptable? I don't know what the answer is, other than this amount of money is absolutely insane. So this is a lot of rice. Now let's take a look at all of the money that we have. So here's $1,000. Every single grain of rice in this pile is worth that amount of money. This is $10,000. Again, this is prop money. It's not real. It looks pretty real on camera, but it's pretty fake in person. Equal to only 10 grains of those rice. Now, let's count out this money and show you what it actually looks like and what the pile looks like after I've done $50,000 worth of rice. The first 1,000 with 1 grain of rice. So right here, we have 20 grains of rice and $20,000. Now let's keep going. So right here we have $50,000. Each one of these $1,000 piles of money has 1 grain of rice on it. Earlier I mentioned having $145 million with that 5-pound bag. If somebody had $145 million, their wealth would be way closer to the average person, you or I, than it would be to Elon Musk's earnings in one single day. If you're making $50,000 a year, which is a pretty common salary here in the United States, it would take you 122,000 years to earn the same amount of money that he earned in one day. But let's say that you're very well off. Let's say you're earning $1 million a year, $1 million a year. It would take you 6,100 years to earn that much money. Let's take a step back and pretend that these grains of rice are no longer equal to $1,000. Let's pretend they're equal to one person. So each grain of rice represents one individual. This pile of rice behind me would be equal to the population of all of the US Virgin Islands, all of Grand Cayman, all of Bahamas, Wyoming, Vermont, Alaska, North Dakota, South Dakota, Delaware, and Montana combined. All of the population of all of those states, those territories, and other countries combined would be equal to that pile of rice if each rice represented one person. If you're earning $10 an hour and you work 40 hours a week, these 2 grains of rice in my hand are equal to what you earn in a month. But it's actually over by about $270. I've got my ruler here. Let's measure how big this pile actually is. So you can see my ruler laying on the ground. It's a 3-foot ruler. So in the end, we have a pile of rice about 15 inches high. Let's have one final look at what $6.1 billion looks like. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. And again, I'll be making videos about Jeff Bezos and his $13 billion in one day, and other videos a lot like this to show things at scale and just how ridiculous they are. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Here goes millions of dollars. Just like that. Bye, guys.